most of us have gone through some type of storm in our lives. For example, in our occupation, that some people might have lost their job or had to leave their job for whatever reason, that causes a storm around us of not knowing what to do. Same thing would be true with our finances, that there's some times in which our finances get out of order, and we have that storm going on around us at that point. We have the storms of just relationships with family, friends, spouses, children, whatever else it might be, that there might be some type of disconnect happening. And it feels like a great storm in our lives. We've all been through storms. And we'll all be through storms again. Sorry to tell you that. But what we do during the storms of life make a difference. Today we hear about the apostles being out in a boat in a storm. And then Jesus walks towards them. Peter then gets on the water and starts to walk towards Jesus. As long as he keeps his focus on Jesus, he's able to continue to walk towards Jesus. But the moment he takes his focus off of Jesus and focuses once again on the storm going on around him, he starts to sink. And Jesus needs to save him. The same should be true with the storms that happen in our lives. That we can't spend all of our time just always concentrating on the storm. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I do that too. I put more emphasis on the storm than anything else. But when we start concentrating on Jesus rather than the storm, we have some type of peace. Although there's a storm going on around us. We have some type of comfort, although there's a storm going on around us. We feel the love of Jesus, even though there is a storm going on around us. Keep your focus on Jesus. Yeah, and again, you still have the problem. Don't get me wrong, you still got to take care of the problem. But why lose your peace? Why you lose your comfort? Why lose feeling that love of Jesus Christ himself, which you can experience during that moment? How do we keep that focus on Jesus? That sometimes we say that, keep our focus on Jesus, but how do we do that? I think when we look at the first reading, it helps us to understand how to keep that focus on Jesus. God was not in the storm. God was not in the fires or anything else. But God was in the slightest of winds, in the breeze, that Elijah was able to hear him. How many times do a lot of us fill our lives with noise? We having the TV on for background noise, or the radio on for background noise, or listening to a podcast all day long, rather than having some quiet time with Jesus. Even when the storms of life are going on, we can still take those moments of silence to listen to Jesus. And I say listen. It's good to talk to Jesus. It's good for us to be able to do rote prayers. But some of us skip the other part and don't listen to Jesus. That's how we are able to keep our focus. Our focus becomes more sharp when we spend that quiet time with Jesus. How are you at keeping your focus on Jesus? How are you at being able to listen to Jesus?